I'm Peter with Pro-Life Unity and ProLifeNews.tv, and I'm here with Jill Stanek. We're at the FRC, the Values Voters Summit. You were instrumental in one of the issues that is affecting the election now with Barack Obama. Could you tell the folks about that and how a lot of the media has picked up on that nowadays?
I'm a registered nurse who found out that my hospital, Christ Hospital in Oak Lawn, Illinois, was involved in an abortion practice called induced labor abortion that resulted in babies being aborted alive. And if they were aborted alive, they were allowed to die without any medical intervention whatsoever. This was back in '99. And I held a little baby who'd been aborted because he had Down syndrome. Held him for 45 minutes until he died. And that was a life-changing event. Made me into the pro-life activist that I would have been scared of not too long before. And legislation was introduced called the Born Alive Infants Protection Act on the federal level and the state level. This is where I encountered a little-known state senator in 2001 named Barack Obama, who sat on a committee before which I testified. He opposed the Born Alive Act, which just stated any baby born alive, no matter what gestational age, no matter wanted or not, is a human being. He said that he thought that this would impinge upon Roe v. Wade, and he opposed it. And he didn't just oppose it, Peter. He took a lead role in trying to stop it. He was the sole senator to speak against it on the Senate floor 2 years in a row, 2001 and 2002.
Wow.
In total, he voted against it 4 times.
And that was in the Illinois State Senate.
All as an Illinois state senator. The 4th time that he voted against it, by this time the federal bill had passed 98-0 in the U.S. Senate unanimously. NARAL went neutral on it. Barack Obama voted against the identically worded bill as an Illinois state senator that had passed so overwhelmingly on the federal level. So Barack Obama took a position left of NARAL. Then he went on to cover it up for the next 4 years and try to say it wasn't identical. If it had been identical, he would have voted for it until 4 weeks ago.
Wow.
4 weeks ago, National Right to Life found his vote, found that he had voted against the identical bill, and since then, it has not been good for him. He had first denied it. Yeah, he called us liars for saying that, and then when it was irrefutable, when the vote was on posted on the web, his campaign backed down. But also the fact that he had said that babies, in answer to Rick Warren's question, when do babies get human rights? He said, I don't know, it's above my pay grade. All of that culminated into a media storm since then, and now it is said that he has 3 issues plaguing him that are really going to be problematic for him. One is Reverend Wright, the next is Ayers, the terrorist friend, and then Born Alive, that he voted against stopping infanticide. In other words, he supports infanticide. That's how left he is on abortion.
And a lot of the issues, when we look at around the country, typically, especially like South Dakota, where the bill that
the abortion ban?
The abortion ban, a lot of people are saying, well, that didn't pass because it didn't have exceptions in it.
Right.
And not that I encourage anyone to believe in exceptions, but regardless, if we look at the population and what opinion was on that,
right.
I think we could safely say that most Americans are pro-life. They may believe in some exceptions. They may believe that if a woman's raped or life of the mother, health of the mother, but in general, America's pro-life.
If the question is asked properly by the pollster, most Americans are against most reasons to abort. Over 90% are secondary birth control, and definitely against 2nd and 3rd trimester abortions. So Barack Obama not only supports infanticide by his vote against Born Alive, but he has taken a strong position in favor of partial birth abortion, which most Americans oppose to. He says that he has been quoted as saying this is a legitimate medical procedure, and he is also against parental notification. So when our side is getting pummeled with us being so far right, Sarah Palin, not having the rape and incest exception, this is where I condemn the mainstream media, because why aren't they asking Barack Obama, how are you feeling about the fact that you are further left than at least three quarters of America on the issue of abortion? And he needs to be asked that question.
And that's where I was going with this, is that if the majority of the population, we think, typically doesn't want to have this abortion on demand,
right,
it's used as birth control,
right,
something as horrible as a baby that survives the attempted death or killing in the womb makes it outside the womb.
Fourth trimester abortion, Father Pavone calls it.
Yeah, there you go. And then Barack Obama supports the putting to death of that child.
Right, he does.
Because that's what we're talking about. I mean, there's nothing mysterious or vague. We're talking about putting to death that child.
You're absolutely right, Peter. And the problem is that this is so unfathomable. People think that it may not be true. It's just so incredible. But there are 2 years worth of Senate floor speeches that he has given, and an audio soundbite was just released a couple of weeks ago from 2002 when he admitted that these babies might be born alive, but he did not think that a second physician should be called in to assess the baby. The first physician being the abortionist who wanted the baby dead. He said because it would be a burden, that's his words, to the decision of the original decision of the mother, and that's his words again. So he is on record as not wanting these babies to be medically assessed and revived if the mom wanted that baby dead originally. And that's just a fact.
That's scary.
There's just no getting around it.
And did you ever imagine, when this Born Alive Infants Act was going through, did you ever imagine that it would become a media storm and that it would then have an impact further beyond where it went at that time? I'm blown away by how much this has become an issue now.
Yeah, I had no idea, and of course, in the beginning, I didn't even know. Nobody knew about it. I was naive. I'm talking way back in the early 2000s when it made its first storm. But now it just seems to me that God is placing this issue in front of them every which way possible. Sarah Palin delivered a Downs baby who had been advised to abort. Barack Obama was willing to let specifically Downs babies die. Sarah Palin has a 17-year-old unmarried daughter she's welcoming her daughter's baby into the family. Barack Obama said that he didn't want his daughters punished with his grandchildren. So you've got that in that juxtaposition. Then you've got the South Carolina Democrat chairwoman saying that the only thing Sarah Palin had going for her is the fact that she didn't abort. It's like almost every day, for some reason, this issue keeps being put back in the forefront of the press. And I know you and I both love it. Because the one thing, I don't mind the debate, but the one thing that I can't stand is being ignored. Not being allowed to talk about it. And so this is just a wonderful teaching opportunity for the American public.
Yeah. Sarah Palin obviously has a really good chance at, when she gets elected, along with McCain, to run for president.
Yeah.
What would you think about that?
I think it'd be awesome. And I think it's just awesome that the first woman who is elevated to this status is a conservative, so to speak, everyday woman like us, hockey mom, who elevated just on her, not on her charm, but on her, abilities, elevated through the ranks, and now she is our standard bearer. The left can't stand this, that, it is a pro-life conservative woman who has beat them. And then now you see them coming out and saying awful things about her, that, should a mother with young kids be close to the White House, and saying all kinds of sexist statements, letting you know that their feminism was just a front for power. They don't really believe it, or else they wouldn't say these things about her. Yeah. So it's a great time for us, but it's also a great time to expose the true agenda of the left.
Yeah.
At one time, and abortion. I mean, what a time! It's a moment to savor. I don't know if Obama's going to win or lose. We don't know, and he may win, but still. This is just a golden opportunity to talk about our issue and persuade people, because there are people that think that, they don't like abortion, but they think that, they have to be pro-choice, or they don't really want to take a position against it. But this is causing them to think about it, people on the fence, and hopefully get them to change their minds on the issue.
Yeah. Well, how can folks find out more about what you have to say and what you're doing?
Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity for a plug. I am at jillstanek.com. That's JILLSTANEK.com. I have a blog there, and I also have a weekly column on WorldNet Daily that you are kind enough to let me post on some of your sites, too.
Glad to. And we think you have a lot of good things to say, and thank you for being with us and talking with us. And look forward to seeing what you have to say. jillstanek.com. Go over there and check out her stuff.